To David. Now, David's a wonderful man. I spent time with him in Davos recently, and it was one of the highlights of going to that great event, just to find a corner and sit and talk about the things that we were doing. I think you best sum up David by having a look at his latest venture, which is called Adventure Ecology, which combines his particular adventurous spirit and the fact that he is an adventurer and his passion for dealing with the ecological issues of the day. And you will see that as an entrepreneur, he's full of ideas and full of energy, and he's focused in on communicating in a way which is alluring and attractive the climate change issue to the vitally important resource for our future, which is children. David.
So, I have to admit, I didn't sleep very well last night. I got into bed and I realized that after 28 years of what I thought I was doing was dancing is really not dancing at all. If you sat down last night and saw what we saw, I thought, Jesus, what have I been doing all this time? And it brings me to a brief story. I just spent the last month in the Amazon in a tiny little village on the border with Peru. And these guys, as I arrived, were sitting with their guns. You know, we're warriors. We're not going to let the oil industry, which is in the north of Ecuador, come down to the south. If you lie to us, if you tell us things that aren't true, then there's trouble. And I thought to myself, okay, fine. So we sat there, and after a few hours of drinking chicha, which is an interesting moonshine drink that they make, I'm not going to go into that, things relaxed a little. And the chief looked at me, and he pointed to the back of the room. He walked over and he pulled out a stereo. I was like, that's a bit odd. He then pulled out Now 2 from 1982, proceeded to put this onto the machine and said, show me how to dance. So my rope-a-dope and my little dance that I was doing last night doesn't quite cut the mustard, I guess. So I have a request to Google, please do not send the Sadler's Wells organization down to this region of the world, otherwise I will never be allowed back. I want to start by thanking everybody here today, and for actually putting on this forum. It's phenomenal. It's a real honor and a pleasure to be here. I feel about that big, and it's also very inspiring to sit in a room full of so many people who have achieved so much. And you look at a room like this, and being an optimist, I go, there is a collective capacity to actually make a difference. When a room or a group of individuals who have the capability to shape the way our future is get together and start to just talk to each other rather than at each other and engage, we can really, I think, meet the challenges that are global warming. When I was asked to join this group, I was asked to join green technology, and you sort of go, wow, green technology, there's thousands of them. You go into the lab, you can, Frederick here will, I'm sure, tell you about it. And I thought, what's one technology that we've kind of seen emerge over the last maybe 12 to 18 months that's really kind of shaping the way we look at our planet? It's giving us a new perception. And to me, and not just because they throw a good party, but it's got to be Google Earth. And the reason why I say that is that, I've got a clicker somewhere, hang on a second, there you go, is that, I don't know, we've all had the pleasure of sitting at our desks and just surfing the world, basically, and I think there is a huge power in this amazing technology, which was once, you had to be an astronaut or very soon a Virgin Galactic customer to be able to experience this, but to have that power, to be able to sit and go to the Amazon, to go to the Himalayas, to go to the Gobi, all in a drop in seconds, I think really, to me, is a very powerful tool to help realign ourselves as being part of a greater whole. While also having fun, which is also important. Everyone talks about climate change, and it's all very depressing, but I think we've also got to get optimistic about it and take the challenge. And I'd like to throw it out to Google that I think this is a fantastic platform to maybe even launch a Google Green version. Take that, reskin it, create a 3D resource where you can see what's going on our planet with water resources, energy resources, waste, all the other things that we are seeing happening. So to everyone who actually engineered that, congratulations. I think that's a real impressive tool. I think for me there's this thing, there's a bit of a sort of an irony, I guess, in trying to get people to connect, as he presses his button, to connect to the natural world online. So how, are we trying to say to kids, we want you to get really enthused, but actually you're going to do it all from your bedroom online? And I think that is a big challenge that we're facing right now. And to me, it's about balance. There's an interesting thing. An author called Richard Louv recently wrote a book, he coined the phrase nature deficiency disorder. And it's this notion, really, that as individuals, we can go online and we can pool resources and we can find out everything we want to know about deforestation, we can find out about the Amazon, we can find out about all these things that are happening around our planet. But when was the last time that a child actually went outside and played in the woods, or jumped in a stream, or just basically hung out and watched the clouds go past? Sounds a bit hippie-ish, that one, but but actually, to me, it's very important, and was definitely an inspiration for me to really look at this notion of nature deficiency disorder that we're seeing in kids. And like I said, I think it is a balance. We need to use the powerful tools that are the web to engage, but we also need to, I think, get them to start to explore the outside and be part of the system, so they realize that there's this sort of false dichotomy that's nature and us. No, we're all actually on the same line. To me, I found this inspiration. I'm not sure if this is working. Is that? No? Okay. To me, I found my inspiration standing at the bottom of what was the Axel Heiberg Glacier. It's pretty intimidating, and that was at that point when I thought, you know what, Dave, you've really got to be careful what you ask for in life. It was setting out on a 100-day voyage across Antarctica. I was part of a 4-man team, 1,600 kilometers, and I felt, again, like a speck of dust. And really, for the next 3 months, I was nothing more than a speck of dust on what is one of arguably the most majestic, environmentally challenged, and fragile continents on our planet. And you spend anywhere between 9 to 15 hours a day with your head down, pulling a sled which weighs over 100, 200 pounds, and you have a lot of time to think. And for me, it was at that point that I think I really kind of grasped how cold it was, but really, as I was saying, going back to this nature deficiency disorder, really grasped this notion of our role on the planet and who we are as individuals. And it was at that point that I think I really realized that it was our ability to live on this planet that we're putting in jeopardy. Yes, we have a fragile ecosystems that we have to protect, but we're protecting them for a reason. It's for us. And I think when I started that challenge, when I went into that challenge, if I was to be completely honest, it was to sort of, I say scratch an itch, but to, I'm always interested in what was going on outside the window rather than inside, and it was probably a bit of driven by natural curiosity, it was driven by maybe a bit of ego, I don't know, but it was driven probably from a slightly selfish place. And when I returned from this expedition, I realized that once you start to share the stories and you start to talk about things, and you'll naturally you start to engage, you get people coming up to you and talking to you and saying, how do you do this, how do you do that, what is, and what I realized was that actually this power of captivation in effectively what is storytelling can either continue along the lines of, I am a polar hero and I can do one-arm push-ups and all the other things that probably go with the usual sort of polar rhetoric that we get. And I thought, actually, you know what? It's not about that. It's about taking these issues and this captivation and using that as a powerful tool to actually realign ourselves, our understanding that it is about our environmental responsibility. It's about us as individuals taking what is really a very complicated challenge, but also a very manageable challenge. I became a bit of an obsessed man. I became determined that I would tell my story. I'm just going to quickly pull this in here. Sorry.